Hello, everyone. I am very excited for the first time to be saying welcome to Troop Talk Live. It's our brand new show. It's happening once a month, and it is all about volunteers, new families, parents, everybody involved in Scouts BSA or other kinds of units who are just interested in learning more about the program. Welcome. We are lucky to have both Aaron, and you know him, but a fresh face, or maybe if you are a regular viewer, a familiar face. We've got Angelique, who is the communications chair for Scouts BSA. Isn't that right, Angelique?
Yeah, that's right. I serve as the communications chair for the Scouts BSA program.
Very good.
We are so excited to have you, Angelique. I was just telling Gina earlier, it's so nice to have someone professional on the show who knows what they're doing. Finally, Gina, yes.
I'm a volunteer, just like all the unit leaders out there.
It is important to make that distinction. Angelique is a volunteer just like you guys. That's exactly right.
Yeah, she just has a professional attitude. But Aaron, I mean, a little
professional knowledge of how this whole thing works.
Yeah. And the irony, because you and I work, this is our job, but we won't get into that. What I will say, amongst all that hard work that we do, we have said for a long time how much we've wanted this show to happen. Cub Chat Live has been around for a few years, and it's been a really big hit. And we have heard over and over and over, we want something similar for Scouts BSA. Well, guys, your wish is our command. Is that what the phrase is saying?
That's how you say it. Yes, exactly. Yeah, we've had folks in the comments seems like picking up in the last few weeks or so. When are you going to do one of these for Scouts BSA? Guys, it's your lucky day. We are here now for Troop Talk Live. I like the name. I think it's a good name.
It's very alliterative. I like it.
Yeah, definitely.
We love alliteration. And guys, just like Cub Chat Live or Trek on Tuesday, if you watch either of those, we will be reading your comments live throughout today's show. Now, we have a pretty specific topic today, right, guys?
Yeah, we do. I think it's a very appropriate topic for the Scouts BSA program. Today, it's all about merit badges, Gina. And I think Angelique, and again, like Gina said, if you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Lizette has already commented, happy B-Day to all Scouts. We do need to make a shout out. Today is the Boy Scouts of America's 113th birthday. Gina and I did a show about that just yesterday. You can go watch that when we're done here today. But definitely happy birthday to the BSA. Any questions you have about the merit badge program, we've got Angelique. That's what she's here for. She will answer it for you. To start us off, though, Angelique, just kind of give us an overview.
Sure.
What is the merit badge program? What is it all about?
Sure. So merit badges are very iconic to the scouting program, right? We've got the merit badge sash and we have all the patches on it. But what exactly are those? If you're new to the program, you might not know. So merit badges are a way to explore different topics that the scout might choose to go into professionally later in life, or they might find a lifelong interest or hobby. So they are ways to explore all those different new, exciting things to try that they might not have otherwise. But there's also another part to merit badges that people might not be aware of. Merit badges themselves are a way to teach our scouts some life skills, some communication skills, some interaction skills. So the process of a merit badge, which we'll talk a little bit about later, encourages that scout to be able to do surmountable challenges. So things like calling people they don't know and having a conversation, and going and setting up appointments and setting up a schedule and setting a plan. And those are all life skills that you and I take for granted. But, our scouts who are between the ages of 11 and 18, 10 to 18, those are new skills. You have to learn them somewhere. So why not learn it as part of a merit badge?
I think that's a brilliant analysis. And I want to just add real quick, Gina, if I could, my son during his time in the, what at the time was called Boy Scouts, that was one of the most interesting things about the merit badge program, I thought, and maybe one of the biggest benefits, is he had to deal with adults on his own. In Cub Scouts, we hold their hands, right? We're there right next to them. All of a sudden in Scouts BSA, he had to speak up. He had to ask questions. He had to interface with adults. Nowadays, a lot of the stuff they do is online. there's not that many opportunities for them to interface and interact with other adults, and they're learned, you look them right in the eye, you have respect, all those things like that. I mean, even forget the merit badge, just doing that is a huge, huge benefit.
Absolutely. And some of that still is online. So some of that is navigating the ways that we connect with people online and in person and over the phone and through email. It practices all those life skills when done right. And that's why it's kind of magical.
Oh, Gina, we can't hear you. I think you might have muted yourself, or maybe you have been muted.
I think I was
now
muted.
we're here. Okay.
I think that it's interesting. We hear that kids are maybe losing the ability just to write emails. So, learning that etiquette in high school, it just seems like it'd be super beneficial, or middle school even. I have a question, and I hate to do this because, it is our first show, but it's totally off book. It is on topic.
All right.
I wasn't born into scouting, so I had this question back in the day, and it's something that I hear a lot of people who don't really have a history with Boy Scouts of America wonder. They use the words merit badge and patch interchangeably. What's the difference?
So a patch is, something you put on your uniform, and you can get a patch like for Jamboree. But a merit badge is actually an award for completing a whole pamphlet, a list of activities to do for that merit badge. So it's an advancement. It's a recognition for something that you've accomplished. And it's a little bit different than, like, say, a patch that we've earned for something else. So there are a certain number of merit badges that you have to earn for different ranks. And some of them are required for Eagle, and some of them are just you get to choose what you want to do. So they're a little bit different than earning patches, say, like at a Cub Scout rank.
And I just wanted to maybe, if I could clarify real quick, Angelique,
Yeah.
You mentioned ranks. There are Scout ranks, the rank of Scout, Star, First Class, Second Class, all that stuff like that.
Right.
Merit badge program kind of works with that. You have to earn some merit badges to advance in those ranks, but you also have to do some other skills that aren't part of the merit badge program. Today, we're just going to talk about merit badges, just so everybody's clear on that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so tell me if I'm describing this correctly too. With some exceptions, you can kind of look at the merit badges as like your electives going through the program. Like there's some required program elements, and then if you have a certain interest, you can focus in with different merit badges.
Yeah, absolutely. There are 14 that are required to take for Eagle, and in the back of the handbook, you will see all of what is required listed out for you for each rank, which merit badges. And there are some choices, but some things are non-negotiable. You need to take your citizenship in the nation and citizenship in the country. And then some of them, you have a couple options, such as the swimming. You can choose between the swimming and the hiking, et cetera, et cetera. But others are just for fun. So you can decide what you want to take. And there's, like I said, 138 of them. So chances are pretty good you're going to find something that really speaks to your interest as a scout. And maybe you'll just take one because it was an opportunity and discover something that you didn't know that you liked, which I've heard a lot of people who have done that and then had it influence their life choices about what they chose as a profession when they were older.
Yeah, we always hear that rumor. We have rumors about like certain famous directors who maybe had the photography merit badge at the time, and, now they're just making movies. Yeah. Aaron, you kind of imparted this on me maybe a few years ago, but what strikes me about merit badges is how involved earning one is, especially when people kind of confuse them with patches, like a patch that you get for going to a museum. Some patches do have requirements, but merit badges are like kind of midterm commitments, I would say.
Yeah, they're meant to be a decent amount of work, I think, Angelique, right? Which is a great kind of segue into our next question. If a scout wants to work on a merit badge, what do they do?
Okay, so to go with what Gina said, some merit badges are a little intense, to have a lot of requirements, and others are a little simpler. But they all are structured the way that they're structured for a reason. It's to give you a really good overview of the topic. And like the topics can be very different, some of them are more involved, and so they have to have more requirements for you to explore it fully. First of all, the first thing a scout should ask is what do I want to learn? What do I want to learn and know more about? And then once they decide what it is that they want to learn and know more about, they talk to their scout master, their unit leader, and say, hey, I would like to learn about, let's say, cooking merit badge. I'm really interested in cooking merit badge. How do I get started with that? The Scoutmaster will have a little talk with them, hopefully, and it should be almost like a mini Scoutmaster conference saying, okay, tell me a little bit about this interest. Why do you want to learn about it? And then hopefully that Scoutmaster will provide them with a merit badge counselor, and the Scoutmasters have a list of all the merit badge counselors in their council and can hook the scout up with someone who is a registered merit badge counselor to explore that merit badge more fully. After that, Scout grabs a buddy, because remember, 2 deep leadership and then everything we do. So Scout grabs a buddy, and for a merit badge, it can be a parent as the second adult for just merit badges. Nowhere else, but in merit badges, you can have your parent as your second adult. And then contact the merit badge counselor. So contacting the merit badge counselor could be by email, could be by phone call, could be in person, but to make sure that have that second adult that's available nearby. Then they're going to talk to that merit badge counselor about that merit badge and say, hey, I'm really interested in studying this. I think I can learn this section by myself, but I need some help maybe with this section. Can you point me to some resources? And then those merit badge counsel will have a back and forth with the scout and help them find the resources they need to learn about that merit badge. When the scout says they have completed all the parts of the merit badge counselor is the one who's supposed to go step by step for each requirement and say, so tell me about what you learned in this section and show me what you wrote on this section. And then once the merit badge counselor is convinced that the scout has completed all the requirements, they sign off on the blue card, which I forgot to tell you about, the blue card that the Scoutmaster should have gave them. So we're going to go back and talk about that in a minute. And then the merit badge will be completed. And the scout would take that back to their unit and say, hey, look, I completed this. So I'm turning this in to my Scoutmaster and my advancement chair, whoever is designated. So the blue card is something that's been around for a really long time, and it is one way to keep track of the progress of a merit badge. It is not the only way, but it is one way to do so. When the scout initially talks to the Scoutmaster about wanting to start a merit badge, they ask for a blue card. And the blue card is a way to keep track of what progress has been done on the merit badge. And then the merit badge counselor will sign off on each step. Now, it is a recommended way, but there are other ways to do it. You can do it through Scout Book, or your council may have some other process that does the same thing. But long story short, there needs to be a written record at some point that's keeping track of when the merit badge was completed, who's the Scoutmaster for the unit, who's the merit badge counselor for the unit, who's the scout, and keeps track of all the steps and when they were completed. So blue card is probably the one that most people are familiar with, but lots of scouts are using Scout Book now too to keep track of everything, which is a pretty great resource.
Seems like a good way to impart some like project management skills with that, that record keeping.
Absolutely. And that's like one of the first challenges when you have a scout who's new to a troop, is teaching them good ways to keep track of their records, of their blue cards or whatever system they're using. So I know in my troop, we give them a binder with some baseball card divider sheets on it, and they slide their merit badge counselors in. Some of them that we never see that again after the first meeting. Others are really diligent about it, but it's a good practice. It's a good way to practice. So the counselor should retain a record, and the unit should retain a record, and the scout should retain a record. Ideally, the scout is going to have the records, but in the event that they might lose it, hopefully the unit or the counselor also has a record as a little proof.
Beautiful. Lots of checks and balances.
Exactly. That's what it's all about. We want to set them up to succeed. So we want to give them every opportunity to succeed by making sure we have all those checks and balances.
Yeah, due to the wide variety of activities that are offered as merit badges, Some of them, a Scouts BSA troop might say, we're going to go kayaking next month, for example, and we'll give everybody the opportunity to earn the kayaking merit badge.
Right.
Some of them, in that case, maybe sort of, the classroom is, your river or stream or whatever, wherever you're going kayaking. Some of them might require a little bit more of an actual classroom, communications. I'm a journalism merit badge counselor, by the way, guys, things like that, maybe a little more of a classroom. So maybe you could talk about that. There are workshops, there are merit badge workshops. There are some online classes, right, Angelique? How does all that work?
Yeah, so I actually am a kayaking merit badge instructor. So that's a fun example for me. So there's a lot to unpack there. First thing to keep in mind is that a merit badge is meant to be a really hands-on activity. All right, it's meant to be fun. It's not supposed to be school. It's supposed to be an experiential learning. So the more that you can encourage a scout to get out and do the things in person, that's going to be the valuable learning experience. That being said, there is, especially since COVID, there's been more opportunities for online merit badges and workshops. There are a few things we need to keep in mind when we're allowing a scout to do that, is that we want those merit badge classes to be offered through a council. And you may say, oh, but why? Why can't anyone just do a merit badge class anywhere they want? Well, the reason we want our merit badge classes to be through a council and to have sign up through the council, perhaps through the council website, is because then the council is responsible for checking that the merit badge counselor is registered as a merit badge counselor, is approved as a merit badge counselor, and has the proper YPT. So that is why we recommend that all classes that are taught online or workshops be run through the council and not be run by an individual online. That being said, doesn't mean you can't do that, but it does mean that the adult volunteers of the unit need to help make some effort to make sure that that counselor has a proper registration and proper YPT to be teaching that class. So that might take a little bit of legwork of seeing where is that counselor, because they might be across the country. Where are they registered? Are they current? Have they been approved by their council? Do they have their youth protection? So that's why our recommendation is, if you're going to do an online merit badge, try and stick with the ones that are being run through councils.
And that whole concept is kind of new to some people who've been involved in Scouts for a long time. They're like, how can it happen online? But I will say, so many parents, especially through the pandemic, are so grateful that their kids were able to, earn their merit badges through online workshops, through their councils. It was, it's kind of changed how a lot of people maybe think of earning merit badges. And speaking of changes, do the requirements for certain merit badges ever change? And how does that work?
Yeah, so they do change. And in fact, they are reviewed on a cycle by people on my committee whose sole job is to work on merit badges and making sure that they are staying updated. So they, with 138 merit badges, that's a lot to go through. And they bring in industry professionals for each different merit badge who make recommendations about what changes need to happen for each one. And as you can imagine, that's no small undertaking, and it's on a rotating basis. So every 2 years, they'll all be looked at some point and have had all of their requirements gone through. There was just an update that was published that became active as January 1st. And there is a website on scouting.org. There is a landing page just for merit badges. And on that page is where you will see all of those updates that have come out to that merit badge recently. And my recommendation is, if you see those, print them out, slap them in the book so that you know what's changed and what's different if you have a paper copy of the book. But right now, yeah, it's really smart, and I'm seeing that link across the bottom of the screen, and I'm thanking you guys for putting that there. But it's really smart to check if the merit badge has been updated, because if you're like me, my troops library is several years old, and a lot of the books have changed. So it's best to, while the content of the book can still be really useful and really helpful, it's good to just check and make sure that the requirements for the merit badge haven't changed recently.
Gina, you might not know that I just a few months ago got finished reviewing the journalism merit badge as part of my volunteer work. I'm eager to see if my suggestions make it into print. I'm just a volunteer. I'm just trying to help out. Who knows if they'll make it or not.
You're really pushing the journalism merit badge.
It is one of the most rare. That's what we call merit badges that aren't as popular as the other ones, but it's rare.
A collector's item merit badge.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Angelique, so speaking of requirements, the Cub Scout motto is do your best.
Right.
In Scouts BSA, kids are a little bit older. When it comes to those requirements, is there any circumstance in which a counselor can alter or change a requirement due to some sort of circumstance with their unit, with a scout, or anything like that?
So no, the merit badge counselor can't change the merit badge. That's a big difference between Cubs and Scouts BSA, because Scouts BSA, we want them to do their best. Our Cub Scouts, we want them to do their best. In Scouts BSA, the requirements are as written. And it's very important that we not add or subtract from the requirement. Now, that being said, there's a lot of leeway in how the merit badges are written. So, for instance, if it says list something, if it tells you create a list, that doesn't mean you have to have a written list. That doesn't mean the scout can't type a list. That doesn't mean the scout can't talk to you and tell you what the list is. There's a lot of leeway. If it says write, then it wants you to write, and you need to see something written from the scout. But again, writing can be typed. It can be told to someone who types it for them. So there's some leeway there with how those are written. That being said, for some merit badges, there are people who are differently abled, who are not able to complete a merit badge as written. Either physically or mentally, they might have something that prevents them from being able to do that. Now, we believe every scout should have the ability to earn the merit badges and earn rank regardless of their abilities. So we do have a pathway for scouts who have concerns that they are not able to finish things as written, and it's called an individual scouting plan. And that can be done through the council advancement chair. So that is nothing that the merit badge counselor can change, and that's nothing that the unit leader can change. It is something that the parent needs to initiate with the scout and the advancement committee of the council. And that's where they're going to sit down and go line by line and say what is achievable by the scout. And then if there are things that are physically not able to achieve, they're going to work with the scout's medical provider to find something else that is still a surmountable challenge, because we still want scouts to be a challenge, but the key word is surmountable, meaning they're able to do it. And that is an agreement that can be made at the council level with the advancement chair to change a merit badge. But again, most merit badges are written so that there is a way to accomplish it no matter what your abilities are. So it's kind of rare that we should have to employ that mode, but it does exist because every kid deserves to be able to participate fully in the program.
That's such an important point about how, accommodations can be made, or there's a wide range for interpretation in what the merit badge is asking of scouts. We got a really good comment I want to read. Tamara, happy 113th birthday, BSA. This year is also our troop's 50th anniversary. In honor of these celebrations, 5 of our scouts are starting the Scouting Heritage Merit Badge with fun presentations at our troop meeting tonight. So shout out to Troop 599.
Go 599.
Very cool, Tamara. That's awesome.
Yes, honestly, we don't hear about the scout. I haven't heard a whole lot about the Scouting Heritage Merit Badge, so that was pretty cool. I kind of Googled it while we were talking last. I mean, I shouldn't admit that, but I was just so jazzed on merit badges. Go ahead,
I
Aaron.
was just going to say, speaking of scouts who might have, be differently abled, one of the ones that jumps to my mind is something like, say, the physical fitness merit badge or something like that, or personal fitness, I think it's called. That seems like an example of where some accommodations might need to be put into place for a scout. I also want to say, you said like come up with a list. A lot of the merit badge requirements I've seen say things like demonstrated knowledge of, which could be you can write
Just
it
about
down,
anything. Yeah.
say it exactly. You can show it in any way. If you have some sort of trouble communicating, right? You
Right.
can do it in a different way like that. I think that's really helpful to me to be, like you said, kind of broad, all encompassing. Everybody has a chance to complete it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know a lot of merit badge counselors, they like the unofficial workbooks that kind of list out each and every advancement and ask the scout to write down everything to answer it. So while expedient for the merit badge counselor, it's not necessarily meeting the scout's needs best. And you can't require that a scout write it all out. You can't. That's changing the requirement to a merit badge. It's only required that they write it if it says write it. Otherwise, the scout is perfectly acceptable for the scout if it says recite or demonstrate. Those should be in person or at least verbal things or showing something. So pay very, very close attention to what the verb is in the requirement, because you can't change that. And if you've got this long list of writing that the scout has to do, it becomes homework, and that's not what a merit badge is supposed to be.
Very good. Very important distinctions. I know we only have a few minutes left, but we've got a couple more questions to round this out. So if, let's say your scout has earned his merit badge or her merit badge, counselor is signed off, everyone's good to go, when do they get the merit badge? And when do they get the physical patch, and how do they get it?
As soon as possible. So we want to make sure that our scouts are awarded their advancements as soon as they finish, because that keeps the momentum going. They're really excited and they earn it. So our Journey to Excellence recommends that we're at least having a court of honor 3 times a year. And if it's a long time till your next court of honor, consider awarding it right away, and then awarding it again at the court of honor, because honestly, the kids worked really hard the scouts worked really hard on their merit badges, and we want to make sure that they continue that momentum and feel really good about what they're doing, because again, they're practicing so many new skills, and we want to keep them motivated and in the program. And part of that is making sure that we are not skimping on the praise when they do well, and making sure that they're achieving their accomplishments right away.
And like Gina said, we only have a few minutes left, but I'm going to try to squeeze in one extra question real quick, if I could, Angelique. We've used the term merit badge counselor a lot during this show today. We've got some folks in the comments commenting that they themselves are counselors. Being a merit badge counselor is a great way to stay involved in scouting, even if you don't have a kid in the program. Maybe just talk real quick about what it takes to be a merit badge counselor, if you could.
Sure, absolutely. There is a merit badge counselor application that is in addition to the adult volunteer application, and it is to list out what areas that you have some measure of expertise in, and what would qualify you as a merit badge counselor for that area. So say, for example, you'd like to do a sculpture merit badge. Why? What can you bring to the table to make that an interesting activity for the scouts to do? It may be you have an education or a career in that area, and that can be how you get qualified to do that. You do need to submit that to your council. Your council's advancement chair the advancement committee will look through that, and they are the ones who are ultimately the people who will either say yes, absolutely, or maybe we could find you a different position that you're more qualified for a merit badge counselor. But anybody can be over the age of 18 with appropriate youth protection training and application can be a merit badge counselor. So it's great for grandma, it's great for the neighbor, it's great for your dentist down the street. Anybody.
If I'm wrong, I don't think there's a fee if you're just a merit badge counselor. You don't have to pay a fee. You can. We would love to have you.
Pay a fee. You basically, there is a training that's you can take online, which is awesome, because training tells you what you're supposed to be able to do, and then your youth protection training. And so there's a real low barrier to entry, but it helps out so many kids to be able to be involved that way.
Yeah, there's a lot of interest in the comments and questions about becoming a merit badge counselor. It's great to see that interest. It's a great way to volunteer. It can be, really time efficient for you, especially depending on which merit badge you're picking. Okay, this is something else that comes up a lot, so I'm glad that it's something we're covering today. People always want to suggest merit badges.
Oh, yeah.
Or even suggest bringing back old merit badges that have been retired. What's the science there?
There's a way to do that. So the merit.badge@scouting.org is the email address that you can send either your ideas or your opinions, or if you notice that something you think should be updated in it, maybe you're an industry professional in that area and you notice something, send it to that email address. Again, that's merit.badge@scouting.org. Those get reviewed by real live people on the Scouts BSA program committee, and they investigate each and every one. And some of those result in brand new additions to merit badges or corrections to merit badges.
Excellent, 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 Angelique. This has been an amazing show. We've got a few questions that I think we can bang out some answers to very, very quickly if you're okay with it.
Yeah.
Jeremy has an interesting question. I've seen this one before. Basically, Angelique, let's just say a scout comes to a merit badge counselor and says, hey, I've already done a lot of this stuff on this badge. Can you just sign off on this blue card for me?
So,
what kind of advice would you have there?
So it's up to the scout whether or not they want to start a merit badge. So ideally, they'll meet with the scoutmaster, and the scoutmaster will say, okay, yeah, I think that's a great idea. If the scoutmaster doesn't think it's a great idea, it's still up to the scout whether or not they want to start that merit badge. So that's kind of something that not a lot of people realize. It's up to the merit badge counselor to decide if the scout has met the requirements. So if the scout arrives and has everything completed, the merit badge counselor needs to sit down and have a conversation and say, okay, so show me what some of the things you worked on are. Tell me about it, and make sure that each one of those things that the scout can answer adequately before they sign off on the merit badge. So if they're not sure, they can ask, can you show me some pictures? Can you tell me about it? If it says that certain parts need to be demonstrated, okay, demonstrate for me what you've learned. If the merit badge counselor doesn't feel that those haven't been met yet, they can say, you know what, I can see you've learned a lot, but I would really love for you to be able to tell me a little bit more about A, B, or C. And when the merit badge counselor is finally is comfortable signing that they know the merit badge, then they can sign off on it and it can go back to the unit. So there's some checks and balances all along the way to make sure that it gets done. And then once the merit badge counselor signs off on it, it's the merit badge counselor who has final say. So they bring it back to the unit, and the scoutmaster at that point can't say you didn't earn this because the merit badge counselor signed off on it. So every step of the way, we need to be really sure that we're meeting what needs to be met for the scout.
When you went earlier in the show, Angelique, you kind of went through the process of earning a badge, and get with the merit badge counselor was early in that process. And there's a reason for that. So you don't waste your time doing some things that maybe just by mistake aren't really what the merit badge is designed to do. Get with your scoutmaster, get with your merit badge counsel early in the process.
Ideally.
As soon as you start to think about it. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, ideally. I mean, Scout could start on it ahead of time, but can make it more challenging if they've headed in the wrong direction with the merit badge. And that's up to the merit badge counselor to help them fix that when they get there.
I'm seeing one more question in the comments I think maybe we can get to. There are certain merit badges that the counselors, there's some specific requirements for them. Certain certifications they'd have to have.
Right.
How do you know if it needs that, if you would need those certifications?
So there are actually a list of those in the Guide to Advancements, which is a long document that has every answer to every question that you ever wanted to know about merit badges in it. And it lists out which merit badges have some hard requirements for a merit badge counselor. So you can start there. And then if you're still not sure, you can talk to your council's advancement committee, and they should be able to help you navigate that. And if they're not, they know who to call to figure that out. But that's a good place to start, is the Guide to Advancements, and read through that.
And Angelique, our very last question of the show before we let you go, how many merit badges is a counselor allowed to sign up for? We want our merit badge counselors to be qualified. We want them to have some knowledge. probably not going to be able to counsel all 100 and how many are there? 30, 130?
Right, right.
Is there a limit? Is there a number?
So that's up to the council. The council can put a cap on how many a merit badge counselor is allowed to do, as long as it applies equally to everybody across the council who is a merit badge counselor. So we don't have that limit, but the council might. One thing to consider is we can't be a professional in all of 138 merit badges.
Yep.
And we're doing a disservice to our scouts. We want them to go to new adults and learn new things and learn how to interact with different adults. So instead of going to one person for everything, the more people that they get exposure to learning the different merit badges, that benefits them rather than sending them back to the same person over and over again.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. What a great show. We hope you guys enjoy it. I'd say the Troop Talk Live is off to a rip-roaring start. Angelique, thanks for your time today. I can't wait to do this again next month.
Thanks. I'm so excited. I think we have a lot of great things to talk about.
Yeah, this was so fun. We had a lot of views today. And I mean, I'm kind of sad we're not going to talk till next month, but it'll be here before we know it. And it gives us more time to prepare another great topic. Everybody, will be live on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Central. We'll give you a heads up before our next show. But until then, Angelique, it was really awesome to talk to you.
All right. It was great to talk to you guys too. And it was great to talk to all the volunteers out there. So excited to work with you.
Yes. Thanks to all the folks in the comments asking your questions. If we didn't get to your answer, tune in next time. We'll try to get to it then. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Excellent job, Gina. Most of all, excellent job, Angelique. We really do appreciate you joining again. Enjoy the rest of your day, both you two and everybody watching at home. Bye, everybody.